In this video, I posed the question, is happiness sustainable? Is it possible to be happy all the time? So I actually want to show you what life really looks like, take a deep dive into that, how to be happy, how to have happiness in your day and in your life, and then finally, understanding your feelings, where they're coming from, why they're there, and what to do about them. Let's get to it. Hey guys, this is Amos Bilo, owner of Poscamore Christian Men's Coaching. Poscamore is a Latin word that means we are needed. Who is the we that are needed? It's strong, healthy, and disciplined Christian men who are also spiritual leaders. And who are the ones that need us? It's our wives, our children, the church, and the world. So my mission through Poscamore is to help Christian men to become healthy and disciplined so that they can focus on being the spiritual leader that their family needs. Let's get to it. What exactly does happiness mean? Some of the synonyms for happiness are pleasure, contentment, satisfaction, cheerfulness. And so what do all those words have in common? Happiness, cheerfulness, contentment, pleasure. It's that they are all short-lived. All those words are short-lived. Do you agree with me on that? Have you gone through your life feeling happy all the time? So what does your life actually look like? What does my life look like? What does life look like? When it comes to this short-lived happiness, cheerfulness, pleasure, contentedness, our life looks like this. Right? Sometimes we're way up high, we just got married, and everything went super smooth, nothing went wrong, and then, holy smokes, divorce. Maybe something like that hits you. Okay, and you finally start coming around, and you meet a girlfriend, you have a new job, things are looking up, and then you lose your job, and then it goes back up, and holy cow, you actually got a better job because of that. And then your brother dies in a tragic car accident. And you slowly start getting better from that, and something else big happens. I mean, your story is your own story, but everyone has these ups and downs, these peaks and valleys in life, where they're happy, sad, distraught, angry, disappointed. All these feelings play into your life. They all show up at different times for different reasons, and there's different ways to react to it. So that's what I want to talk about today. But before I get to that, I want to show you two different ways to have happiness. I want to show you a normal way that people use to be happy that's slightly effective, and then I want to show you a very effective way to have happiness and to have really great happiness throughout the day, okay? So there's two different ways. The first way is to fill yourself up. Okay, what do I mean by that? I mean, go and find things that make you feel good, make you have that sense of happiness, and fill yourself up with it. So that can be food, dancing, travel, alcohol, people, whether that's girlfriends or friends, just hanging out with them a lot, buying stuff, experiences like amusement parks or escape rooms or movie theaters or TV shows, okay? So this is how most people try to have happiness in their life. They try to fill themselves up with everything around them. Most of the time it's short-term stuff, and we get that short-term happiness, and then it goes away, and then we're looking for the next thing, okay? So this is effective a little bit, but it's not the most effective way to have more sustainable happiness. Happiness that actually fills you up longer and in a deeper and more impactful way, okay? So the second way is to recognize and use God's blessings. All right. Recognize and use God's blessings. Do you see the difference here? You are understanding when you recognize God's blessings, everything that He's given you, even if it's not a good situation in your mind, if you recognize that everything is done for our good, as God promises us, and you recognize the blessings that God has given you, allow yourself the space to recognize that. You are already seeing that you are full, that you are being filled by someone else, by a loving Father that cares for you. Okay, so give yourself the chance to recognize God's blessings and write those down, because that will give you happiness. in that moment. That will give you long-term happiness, because that's a never-ending source. God is a never-ending source. There is no end to him. Okay, so recognize it, but then use those blessings. Be a good steward of your body, of your time and your talents and your job and your responsibilities and your family. Use those blessings to serve other people, to love other people. So here are your two options. You have the option of, okay, I'm gonna either go home and watch my favorite TV show because there's a new episode on tonight. So I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna watch that by myself. And I'm gonna find happiness in that. Or someone invited me out to hang out at their house and to help them with the project. Now, if I went there and helped them and served them and did it with a caring heart, which one would actually have a bigger impact on your life? Which one, in the long run, would make you happier that you did? Would make you happier about yourself? Would make you happier with that relationship? For me, it's always the second one. If I can serve someone and I can show up for someone genuinely and I can use my time and talents in a beneficial way, then I feel so much better. I feel so much happier because of that. So I encourage you to let yourself start shifting from filling yourself up and instead recognizing and using God's blessings to fill others up. Do you think that would make you feel good? If you served other people, if you loved other people? Absolutely. That would be amazing. Now, when it comes to filling yourself up, that's not all bad. The things I used are the quick things to fill yourself up. Now, you can also say that filling yourself up is going to work out, going into a sauna, but understanding that the reason I do those things, the reason I take care of my body and I treat myself sometimes and I give myself some time and space is so that I can show up and serve others in a more impactful way. Now, that is good motivation, and that is going to lead to more lasting happiness. Now, is happiness actually sustainable? Maybe a better question is, should I try to be happy all the time? Do you try to be happy all the time? Do you try to play off all the bad things that are happening? Or do you actually look at it? I do actually know a few people, who are always trying to be happy. They're always trying to be the positive influence on people's lives. That's a good intention to want to do that, but is that sustainable? Is that something that we should all strive for? Now that we've covered happiness more in detail, let's come back to that life model. Okay, so this is my life. It's up and down all the time. I even have some loop-de-loops. I don't even know what that is emotionally, but you're going to get turned around. You're going to be upside down. You're going to feel distraught, disappointed, angry, impatient, hatred in your life. We're all going to feel those things. Okay, so you can expect that. You can be okay with that. Now, is happiness sustainable? No. It's mostly short-lived. And you can find ways to be happier, longer, in more impactful ways, and I showed you that, but you are going to have these lows in life. Now, what I want to encourage you to do is don't ignore these. Don't try to be happy all the time, because what you're going to be doing is lying to yourself. You're going to be ignoring what your body is telling you, what your soul and body are telling you. And then in your mind, you're rejecting those two things. So that is what your feelings actually are. Your feelings is your body sending information to your mind. Okay, and you might be upset or distraught because you have seen in your mind that someone died or your car crashed or something like that. And so you see that, that's how you react to it, so your body starts creating chemicals, your body starts sending information that, okay, I understand something's not right. So I'm sending these chemicals out and I'm letting you feel this anger or sadness or disappointment. Okay? But then if I choose to be happy in that moment, if I try to ignore those feelings, if I try to shove them down back where they came from, I'm shoving these feelings back into my body and I'm creating a disconnect. I'm creating a block up. Okay? And that's where grudges come from. That's where these deep-seated traumas come from, and anger that doesn't go away. But if you let those feelings ride out, if you let those feelings actually come up and show up in your speaking and in your interactions, so you open up to people and you let them in, and you let yourself cry when you need to cry, that lets it out. It gets it out of your system so you don't have to deal with it anymore. It's not going to be pushed down back into your body. So I highly urge you and encourage you, do not ignore your feelings. Let yourself feel the ups and downs, but make sure, as always, that your soul and your connection to God is strong. Okay? Because if your connection to God is strong, this is where your joy comes from. Now, joy is different than happiness, and I'll put that in a different video. But if I understand that I truly have life to the full in heaven, I have eternal life planned out for me, given to me, then I have a deep-seated joy that I can look at when I'm down here in the lowest of lows. I can look up and see my joy in heaven. And so even down there in the deepest low, that is my solace. I find peace and I find joy apart from happiness on this earth, but it's still there for me. So this is how the process works. Please let yourself feel what you're feeling so that you can deal with it and that you can move forward and start climbing up the next peak and start seeing and recognizing the blessings that God has given you again so that you can now get back to serving other people as we're called to do. Thank you so much for watching this video. If there's anyone else that you know that might benefit from this, please share this with them. And if you've enjoyed it, make sure to turn your notifications on or subscribe. Remember that our purpose as men on this earth is to do our best taking care of what God has blessed us with. Our bodies, our families, our jobs, our possessions, time and talents, and the wonderful grace that He's given us. And it's also our jobs to be the leader who serves as Jesus served us. Finally, we remember that we do all things to the glory of God, our Father. God bless, brothers.